Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show, which is for some reason moved behind 2 days. Like, we recorded Sunday last week, it went out Monday, it's happened again this week.
Blame Netflix.
It's mainly Netflix's fault, yes. But we intended to go back to Friday, to go out on Saturday early at some point, but it's not happened this week.
It will happen at some point.
But we're still here. We're still here to talk about what happened in the past week. If anything happened to drop over the weekend.
Did things happen?
It did, yes. Actually, there was a pretty big thing on Monday that I'd forgotten about and was glad that I'd looked through everything and retrieved
Is this going to be something that I'm completely blanking on now, but as soon as you tell me, I'll be like, oh yeah, that thing.
I think it doesn't mean as much to you, but you'll remember it.
Do you know what? I know what thing it is.
You know what thing it is? Okay.
Yeah. It's just
TV news, talk about pilot orders, series orders, renewals, cancellations, things in development, all that usual kind of thing. Maybe a little bit of casting here or there. Although I'm going to make this very clear because there was like 4 stories I ignored this week. I'm officially not including anything to do with Quibi, just in case anyone asks at any point. Not TV. I'm not counting that.
Remind me, Quibi is
the short form streaming thing where it's like 5-minute episodes.
Oh, is that Spielberg's bullshit?
I think so.
Show?
Yeah. Basically, their movies split into like 5-minute chunks. I'm not acknowledging it on a TV podcast. It's not what it is.
Are they the one who insisted on the thing you can only watch at night in your region?
Well, that was just one show, yeah. But yeah, that was them.
Yeah. Okay, that in short, I will never use them.
So yeah, we got a bunch of news to talk about. I'll remind you of a couple of things before we start. Obviously, at the end we always do the what's coming up review wise and whatnot. But I'll just remind you of a couple of things. We are near October, and Octoberthon is coming up. If you don't know what that is, our horror movie podcast, Screams After Midnight, which me and Tim do every week. We go on a bit of a marathon during October, and you're getting 31 episodes over 31 days. And you can get involved in that. And one of the things we're doing is that we're doing a community submitted, voted for top 50 horror movies. So if you want to be a part of that, you can send your top 25 or top 50 horror movies of all time, ranked in order, because it's important for the point system, to mftvquestions@gmail.com. And we'll be doing a results show, probably in 2 parts, towards the end of October. And the deadline for that is the 20th of October. So I thought I'd mention that at least once on the TV news. To get people to go and do such things.
So, some TV people may enjoy horror movies.
They may do. So yeah, and we're doing 31 episodes over 31 days. And in fact, there was a qualifier before that is no longer there. Because
have you managed?
It's not extra movies, but we're doing something to fill the 4 slots that were empty.
Oh, well done.
So there is now 31 episodes, not 31 traditional episodes. There's 24 traditional episodes, 4 of a special October thing, 2 halves of a countdown that me and Tim are doing for ourselves, 2 halves of the top 50 results that are been voted for by you guys,
in a pear tree,
and 4 exclusive traditional episodes to patreon.com/BelfastTV. Right, it's a busy month.
I really hope that added up correctly, otherwise you just look like an idiot.
I think I'm right. Hold on. 24. Maybe it's 23. It's 23. I think I said 24 traditional episodes. 23 traditional episodes. Okay. I've never thought about it because in my mind it's 27 episodes, but that's including the 4 Patreon episodes. So I was taking it off and I did the wrong amount. All right. Look. That's coming in October. It's a lot of work. Me and Tim have been working hard.
They put in a gauntlet every year, and
yeah,
I managed to watch maybe 2 movies in October if I'm lucky, because October tends to be a busy month for me.
Biggest ever, and I've been watching movies this week. What I'm calling the road to the Octoberthon, because why wait till October 1st?
I mean, because that's October.
Yes, but the idea we've got to fill those slots kind of requires one the first week, and if I don't watch any movies until the start of October, the first week's a bit null and void. So movies are getting watched in the run up to October. So anyway, TV news. That's what you're here for. We'll start off with some renewals, and it's funny actually. There's 2 stories here that are the exact same. I can word them the exact same, just with 2 different shows. So I'm going to say renewed for a 4th and final season, and then I'm going to say Glow, good news, and I'm going to say 3%, also good news. So, you know what? Praise to Netflix for actually giving them the final season notification so they know they can end their story, because Santa Clarita Diet just got, well, Santa Clarita died, as I've heard people refer to it, and I'm glad that's not happening with these shows, because I like these shows.
Because we like these shows,
yes.
or at least one of individually.
Yes. So, yeah. And I've only got a couple of episodes left of Glow Season 3. I am enjoying it immensely. But, yeah. So that's good news. Good news. So next year we'll get the final seasons of both of those shows. But they know it's the end, and that's all we can ask for as TV folk. Next up, so not a lot of renewals and cancellations this week of note, but we do have some casting announcements for a certain crossover that's coming in December.
Yes.
/ January.
Well, and January, yeah.
Yes.
It's been awkward this year.
So, 2 notable stars from Smallville have been announced to be appearing in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover that the CW are doing between all the DC shows. We have Erica Durance, who played Lois Lane in Smallville, and we have, of course, Tom Welling, who played Clark Kent in Smallville. Maybe this time actually in costume, because you've
and just in case it's not clear, they are reprising those roles.
Yes, they're playing those roles, because Erica Durance has been on Supergirl before as in a different role. Maybe she'll do that again. Maybe she'll play both characters during the crossover. That'd be funny.
Hey, other people are doing it.
Yeah, Brandon Routh, who's playing both Superman and the Atom,
so why not? Yeah.
are doing it before he leaves for good.
Unless hurrah, right? To be fair, even if he'd left last year, for example, he'd have come back to play Superman.
Oh, sure, totally. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I am not particularly fond of Smallville. I do not care for it. I especially don't care for Tom Welling in the lead role. Erica Durance is fine. She was fine as Lois. I have no complaints.
Yeah.
Obviously, in Smallville, I never really get a chance to see what she could really do as Lois, but, you know, that's not her fault.
She was fine, yeah.
So, you know, I'm not super excited, but it does make sense to do it here. If you're going to do it at all in these shows, this is where to do it.
It does. I know Tom Welling's a pretty nice dude from every interview I've seen, and some people like his acting more now on other shows.
Do you know? I was looking at a top 10 list last night of it was from horror movies. It was a top 10 like old teenagers from slasher movies and stuff like that, and it was pointing out who was like 28 to 31 when they were meant to be in high school. In movies, and I think Tom Welling was pretty egregious on that front. Maybe not quite as bad as like hitting 30 when he was still maybe a teenager, but
he was definitely well into the 20s.
But when he started, yeah. So by the time they finished, he was in his like mid-30s. Yeah, I was like, damn, he really should be Superman by this point. He's starting to look a bit old.
I mean, by the end of that show, he was a working professional for years at this point.
Yeah, he's been in the Daily Planet for about 4 seasons.
He's been in the Daily Planet for at least 4 or 5 years. You know, he spent every episode walking around like in a business suit. You know,
Can I say
he was a grown-ass man.
I hated all the faux suits he had. I hated the black or the red leather jacket. I hated the black trench coat look. I hated all the things he wore to be Superman that weren't the Superman suit.
I love the black trench coat in how mid-2000s emo it is.
Oh, it's very. Speaking of, me and Tim.
We've got more on the mid-2000s emo.
Me and Tim just today recorded our Streams After Midnight episode for The Howling Reborn. So to put this in perspective, The Howling 7 New Moon Rising came out in 1995. The Howling Reborn, the 8th film, came out in 2011. In the middle of Twilight Mania.
Ah.
That's all I'm going to say. I
sense some residual anger.
I have never been as annoyed at narration as I have.
Narration?
Life is really tough, and every day is like just trying to survive, and no one really understands me. No one understands. High school is like a war zone, and everyone is fighting for survival. Oh, shut up! Oh, he's the worst. Anyway.
George's really bad.
Yeah.
I can picture that. Tweaked slightly. You've just done the bit from Mean Girls. But with some pizzazz in it, obviously.
With better writing, yes.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the main dude, despite the fact that it's a Twilight knockoff, is they've done their best to make him look like Harry Potter for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, so
They're hitting all target audiences, Pete. They get them all.
So, in fact, got into some casting for Supergirl. Notably, Brainy from Supergirl was in the Howling Reborn, bizarrely. But yeah, so Supergirl had a couple of castings for season 5. Cara Buono from Stranger Things. That's Mike's mum.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Mike. Yeah. It's only been a couple of months since season 3 aired, but the names go right out of my head as soon as I try. And then Mitch Pileggi's been added to the cast. He was in the X-Files, so they're going to play some roles. Bruno will recur as Gamini. Jamini? Gamini. This is. I'm going to spell this for you. Gamemnae.
I'm going to go with a hard G because it's. I don't know.
Sure. I'll be honest. When I glanced at that earlier, I assumed it said something like Gemini or something like that without really looking at it, and then I went to read it.
It definitely doesn't.
I'm like, oh no, that's something else. So she's an ancient alien who, with others of her kind, have been safeguarding the Earth from the follies of humanity throughout the ages. Her aim is to use technology to subjugate humans. She is cunning, witty, ruthless, and always 10 steps ahead of her adversaries. Her agenda puts her into conflict with her would-be allies on a collision course with Supergirl. I'm not going to lie, her name was repeated in that paragraph like 5 times. I replaced it with pronouns every time because I thought, no, I'm not doing it again. To be honest, 5 times in one paragraph is too many. There probably should be some pronouns in there to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, like you do one at the start and you can probably get away with another one somewhere else later on, after a full stop somewhere.
Yeah, Pelagi will recur as Ramakan, an ancient alien who is able to control the 4 ancient elements, fire, water, earth, and air. Arrogant and willful, Ramakan has been entrusted to use his powers to protect the Earth from mankind for millions of years, but now his agenda puts him at odds with Supergirl as well as Lena Luthor. So
I'm not going to lie, those two characters found it very similar.
I feel like they're probably going to be on opposing sides of like this ancient fight.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like... because either that or maybe they're part of the same faction, but I could see them maybe being like opposing sides that have been around forever.
Sure.
Definitely giving you a sense of what maybe the main plot of the season of Supergirl is going to be revolving around.
Something to do with some ancient aliens looking over Earth.
Aliens. That show
that sums up that entire show.
Yeah, that show is called Ancient Aliens. That was a on-point reference. Thank you very much. 2 characters were introduced in 2002 in the DC comic series called JLA. That's just funny to me. And JLA, yes, Justice League of America, yes. Yes. If I goes on to say an acronym for the Justice League of America, thank you for that. Okay, I get it. We're not all comic nerds. Okay, I feel like JLA is reasonable enough. I don't know. So in the comics, their ancient magic and grand schemes are tied to Atlantis, the fabled city that exists beneath the waves of the ocean. I think it's interesting that they've realised Supergirl has no main villains really to pull from now, so they're pulling from, some lesser-known Justice League stories and things like that. I think that's a smart idea.
Yeah, no reason why not to.
Yeah.
And we know they're dealing with all the secret organization stuff that we kind of set up at the end of the last one, if I recall.
I was just seeing why Matt was messaging me. It's to tell me that Emma Roberts and Billie Lourd are in the new American Horror Story. And I know that. Like, this season, 1984, slasher-inspired, those 2 actresses, this season is made for me, but everything I've seen from American Horror Story has been garbage. I want no part of it.
Someone I work with said, do you want... I was like, no, I've tried a few seasons. It just doesn't work. Because, I thought I was going to like this season. And then they just went all in on the dude with the gimp suit, and I was out. I was like, what the hell?
Excellent.
And so clearly I've not seen enough to get the context for this, but that was the sentence. I was like, okay then.
Next up, Justified star Timothy Olyphant. You might also know him from Scream 2 or Die Hard. Live Free or Die Hard was the name of that one. He's coming to FX to star in Fargo season 4 alongside Chris Rock. So
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot Fargo season 4 was still happening.
Yeah, Chris Rock's the main dude in it. Yeah, that was a while ago we got that news. It was
so long ago that I'd forgotten.
Yeah. It's still happening though. 2020. So
Yeah, fair enough.
it's coming. Maybe taking the extra year or two between seasons will
That might be
benefit.
good. I'm not saying what, but it was just as soon as you said Chris Rock, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that being a thing. But
Hmm.
when you started telling me Fargo, I was like, oh, they're doing a fourth season. Like, I guess it just been that long, I'd forgotten that they'd even announced it.
Next up, we got some casting for Shintarum, the Apple series based on a novel. I almost put this in the news section, and I was like, oh wait, no, we've spoken about Shintarum before. I remember this being a thing. Yeah, I remember bringing this up. Charlie Hunnam's been cast in the show.
Thrilling.
Hey, maybe he'll flourish on a TV show. And people liked him in Sons of Anarchy. I mean, I never get into
I was
that
going to
show.
say, he did years on a TV show.
Yeah, but people liked that show. No one complained about him in that. It wasn't until he started doing movies that people.
From what I gather, his character in Sons of Anarchy is, I mean, it's Sons of Anarchy, right? It's pretty much what you expect from Hunnam.
Sure. The only thing I know about Sons of Anarchy is there's a great clip on YouTube of it's like the same scene side by side. One's running in 24 frames per second and one's running in 60 to show
how terrible it looks.
Yeah, to show why 24 is better suited for this sort of stuff, at least given what we're all used to. So I've seen this clip up because you end up you watch it like 5 times to really pay attention to both sides. You're like, all right, I'm looking at that one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is why you don't have your motion smoothing or whatever it's called on your TV on.
Absolutely. Yeah, turn all that shit off. First thing you do when you get a new TV is you go to the menu and turn almost everything off.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So anyway, written by Eric Warren Singer. Shintarum tells the story of Lynn, a man on the run from an Australian prison looking to get lost in the teeming city of Bombay. Cut off from family and friends by distance and fate, he finds his new life in the slums, bars, and underworld of India. Yeah, we've talked about this.
Yeah, I do remember that. So I remember we discussed the time period. Well, it was called Bombay, so that told us when it was set.
Yes, that's right. I'm not gonna lie. I hear Bombay, and all I can think about is Gordon Bombay from the Mighty Ducks trilogy. Coach Bombay.
Sure. My first thought is gin. I don't even drink gin, but Bombay Sapphire is a huge gin brand.
I've never heard of it, but I mean,
it comes in a very distinctive blue bottle.
You're definitely the alcoholic between us, so you're the one who would know this.
I work in a store that sells a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, but relatively speaking, compared to me, you're an alcoholic. I mean,
to be honest, I could have one beer, and relatively speaking, I would. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, compared to me then, relatively speaking, you're a blind drunk alcoholic who's never been sober in decades. But
hey, I've not touched a drop today.
Today. Next up, so we have some reboots in contention here because this is the other thing. We have a name now for NBC's streaming service that they're going to do,
which I forgot was going to be a thing, but I wasn't. But when I saw this, I wasn't surprised that it was going to be a thing.
No,
even though
I never forgot it was going to be a thing, because every single time like anything comes up to do with this, there's always this little note that says, "Oh, remember when NBC's service launches, The Office and some other shows are going to leave Netflix forever." Like that's always brought up.
That makes sense. But in my head, I was like, "This was the announcement of the service," and I just wasn't surprised because, of course, they've got a service coming because everyone's got a service coming.
Yeah, they've been teasing this one for a while though.
They have.
And I think the interesting thing about NBC is because they're known mainly for their sitcoms more than anything else, and they could sell this if it's a cheap enough service. They could sell it as the great bingeable sitcom streaming service that you just don't want to have without. Because sitcoms tend to be what people put on in the background a lot, right? I feel like they may actually be able to like almost fill a niche in the streaming wars and survive just because what they offer is so directly like thought of as them. Like, they'll have their Cheers and their Frasier and their Office and their Parks and Rec and their all that stuff.
Yeah, and it needs to be traditional sitcoms as well. Like, cause I know, like Netflix do half-hour comedies as well.
Sure, yeah.
But they generally feel like, this is a Netflix comedy, right? In the same way you can say about like, HBO or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, there's some they won't have, because even though Seinfeld aired, I didn't put this in the news, but Netflix from 2021, I know this is how far ahead they're announcing this. They've got the worldwide streaming rights for Seinfeld. which is
they need something to replace that Friends.
exactly, yeah. And Seinfeld was the sort of the big, like, you were in the 90s, you were a Seinfeld or a Friends person, right?
Yeah.
It was basically the thing.
Not in Britain though.
Not in the UK. Although having now seen all of Seinfeld a couple of times, I would pick Seinfeld over Friends happily.
No, that's fair. I'm not even disputing the quality. I just meant when we were kids and
Seinfeld wasn't a big thing here.
It just wasn't a thing.
I mean, it was on the cable channel or whatever time, but it was not like a thing anyone talked about.
Whereas there was a point where Friends has daily reruns.
Yes, it still does.
Does it still? Well, I don't know. I don't watch TV.
I mean, it used to always be E4, but now I think it's Comedy Central has it on every day. But I mean,
is it okay?
Yeah, same difference. Anyway, so they want to reboot some of their shows that people like. These ones are a bit more kid skewing, admittedly, but I mean that's part of this, kids comedy stuff.
We've talked about this before. Streaming services need to have things like that to diversify.
So they're looking at rebooting Saved by the Bell and Punky Brewster.
I care about neither of these.
Saved by the Bell, I saw a lot of growing up. It was, it was repeated constantly on.
It was. That's sort of a reasonable amount. I just never got into it.
What channel was that? Was it Nickelodeon that was on a lot as a kid? Can't remember.
Maybe
it was on one of the kids' channels a lot.
It was, yeah.
And Punky Brewster, I've never seen. I can't comment.
Neither.
But yes, will feature several original series, and a part of that is they're wanting reboots from Saved by the Bell. And there's an extreme. I'm just remembering this from reading this earlier in the week. There's an extreme tangent to that one. I'll get to in a minute. So there were originally cast members involved in that, and then Punky Brewster, which will get Soleil Moon Frye back as a grown-up version of her former character. So they're reboots in the true sense that they're actually like sort of like bringing. It's not like they're redoing the thing. They're setting it years later. It's a borderline
sequel.
Yeah, it's a sequel series where they're older. So you can even debate that arguably the idea is not to appeal to kids. It's to appeal to people who were kids when the originals were on, and now the adults want to watch these characters again in a more grown-up sitcom.
Yeah, I was gonna say they make it into a more traditional sitcom. That basically, just happens to feature those characters.
I would have thought so, but yeah. So I wonder if this article has that crazy thing I read in it about Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell, which celebrated its 30th anniversary last month, was a high school set comedy that ran on NBC for 4 seasons from 1989 to 1992. It starred Mark-Paul Gosselaar, Zach Morris, the fulcrum of the group that included AC Slater, Jesse Spano, Kelly Kapowski, which everyone had a crush on in the 90s. That was just, I mean, not me, because I wasn't watching it until later. I mean, for me, it was the Pink Ranger, but there was a whole generation of people that Kelly Kapowski was the one. Screech, who was the sort of the nerdy one, who I think went on to do porn actually, and then Lisa Turtle. And there was a spin-off called Saved by the Bell: The College Years that ran for 1 season after, because basically they ran out of high school years, so they did 1 season of college, and then it didn't survive after that. So this doesn't have the thing I read, but I read an article. Now maybe this was bullshit.
I'm ready to Google.
But I read somewhere this week that this Saved by the Bell reboot was going to feature Zach Morris as the mayor of Los Angeles. Which is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. But I suppose they all have to have jobs. If you're going to bring people back, and they're adults now, they need to have jobs.
I googled. Hang on. So there's one with mayor in it. The first 6 results did not.
Maybe this is all fluff. Maybe one person speculated.
The series is set to bring a new generation of Bayside High teens as students transfer to the notable school after Mayor Morris closes many low-income schools in the area.
Oh, it's insane. Oh, okay. What was Punky Brewster about? Because I have actually no idea. Punky Brewster, earmarked as a sequel to the Emmy-nominated sitcom, has been in development with Universal Content Productions. Frye is set to reprise her role as the titular character, an orphan who has been raised by foster father George Gaines. The original series was created by David W. Dulkin and ran for 4 seasons, 1984 to 1988. Yeah. So the new version, which will be a multi-camera hybrid reboot, so select scenes will be single camera if they're leaving the apartment, I guess. Punky is now a single mother of 3 trying to get her life back on track when she meets a young girl who reminds her a lot of her younger self. So it'll be a bit of a passing of the torch by the sounds of it then, based on that.
Yeah.
So fair enough. They want to reboot those, but we're not done yet, because as a separate article, and I deliberately saved this one till second because it's the bigger, more recent thing.
Yeah, I'd have started with the more interesting one.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing though. Those 2 are actively in development. This one's more, we want to do it, but they've not actually. Whereas they've actually got people attached to those 2 that we just talked about. The Office, NBC know that The Office is a cash cow. They know that people want their streaming service so they can binge 5 or 6 of the 10 seasons of The Office. Maybe not all of them, but a significant portion of them.
Yeah.
And they want a reboot. They want a relaunch of it in some way. And
can't blame them.
Yeah, I mean, I think my only concern about this and all these reboots is that it's starting to feel like sitcoms, just like superhero franchises, or just like, you know, other big franchises. It's starting to feel like these titles are just brands at this point. And
do you know what I'll let slide on The Office? If it's not okay, here's the same character archetypes just done again. So obviously you have the UK office, and then you have the US office, and it's the same basic principle of, okay, it's just all right, a day in the life of the office, and you could just transfer that into do any sort of group of characters in that scenario. If they do that and just give us something a completely different set of characters, they don't feel like, oh, this one's supposed to be Jim and Pam, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's just that weird thing though, where they're just trying to use the name to sell something, even though it could literally be called anything. I mean, Parks and Rec started as an Office spin-off, and let's say Parks and Rec never happened back then. If you launch Parks and Rec now, you could totally call it the reboot of The Office and get away with it, probably, because it's set in an office. It's the Parks office. Like, it's an office. Like, you could get away with that. And would that make that show any less good? No, it wouldn't. It just
would it have made more people watch it? Maybe.
Maybe, but it irks me a little bit. It feels like they're treating these names like brands now, and I don't know if it takes away a little bit of the heart of what the show was and makes it feel just a little bit seedy and corporate. Takes away a little bit of the soul.
I get what you're saying. I don't really agree.
Well, you don't have a soul, so why would you care about any of this? Look,
it's true.
I'm just saying, it takes a little bit away. Like when I see, I mean, the original, or this isn't even the original, but you know what I mean. The initial
the American
series
original
that we're talking about will never really lose any magic that it had. I mean, honestly, it tarnished its own reputation by the end anyway, because it had like 3 or 4 terrible seasons. But it does start to feel weird when it's like, okay, so when we get to the point where, okay, we're on the 4th version of The Office, in 15 years time, it's like, none of them have lasted more than a couple of seasons because they've all been kind of short-lived and failures. And
here's the question: do you feel like that? Okay, the Office, the American version, do you feel that in any way diminishes the original British version? Does it feel like a branding exercise, or is it just they're pretty different shows, just with the same name?
Well, no, but I think we're talking about specific cases here, and honestly, like, different countries doing different versions of shows for their own markets is not a thing that started with The Office.
Not. No.
That goes back decades and decades and decades.
It does.
Game shows are like the notorious genre for it.
Yeah.
Although there's something really fascinating about the idea of just taking like a British or American game show and just showing it in the other place, and like, here, just watch this version of it.
Yeah, I bet you Americans don't have supermarket sweep.
They couldn't handle Dale Winton.
No.
Not that he's doing it anymore. I don't know who's doing it now, but
it's definitely not him.
It's definitely not him. No. Man's probably 70 by now. So
I'm pretty sure he died like a year or 2 ago.
Oh, did he? Well, in that case, I retract my joke, and I'll just he seemed like a nice guy. So we it's not so much anything it does to the original, it's more the idea of just being tired of them retrying the same thing over and over again, right? Because at this point it kind of feels like they know what's going to sell their services, these, like, say 4, 5, 6 big shows that they've got from their vault, right? And all their ideas is to make new content is, let's do new versions of all of them.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
same thing I hate Disney for. I hate Disney doing live
No,
action of all their animated shit. Do
no, I
something
know,
new.
and I think that's more valid as a criticism. It's this when it, especially when it comes to sitcoms. One of the things that we say so often is when we get to the part of
Sure.
this show
I
where
know what you're
it's
going to say.
okay, we're reading the description for a sitcom. We go, okay, it's a workplace sitcom. Okay, it's a family sitcom. They all sound exactly the same, just with a different name. And very rarely do they have a specific thing that means that you couldn't just interchange a couple of little things. So I think with this case, when it comes to sitcoms, it bothers me even less than other things because so many sitcoms that are completely separate are interchangeable on a core premise.
Yeah, yeah, you could basically interchange every either family sitcom or workplace sitcom. They're all the same, essentially the same ideas. It's the
Yeah,
characters and the writing that makes them what they are. But that's kind of the point, though, right? Is that like sure, some shows will last so long that they'll change their writers midway through. But then even then, when that happens, a lot of people who like the show, if it goes downhill, will say, well, they should have ended when the original people who were involved in it
yeah.
left. Um, to me, if more than anything, what makes a sitcom is the writers' room and the actors involved, right? Because those are what make the sitcoms funny, right? Direction on a sitcom is basically nothing, and I don't mean to diminish the job of someone who's directed a sitcom, but compared to anything else, you're just pointing and shooting and capturing what's happening. That is, that's what you're doing in a sitcom.
Weirdly, The Office is one of the most
Directed, yeah.
directed sitcoms I can think of, at least American sitcoms, in the way that it has the.
Well, that's why we like single camera sitcoms now as opposed to multi camera, because single camera does inherently get a bit more inventive and do more.
It does, yeah.
Which is something that arguably started being a big thing around the Office's early seasons, and to the point where even though I can because right now I'm watching News Radio from the 90s, right, which is a workplace sitcom set in a radio station, and I've binged through 3 seasons. I'm on early season 4. It's only been a couple of weeks, and that is a multi-camera sitcom with a laugh track, and for some reason, there's several good examples of those shows from the 80s and the 90s that I can happily still sit. Even this one I've never seen before I watched it for this, or not this, but just for because I wanted a new sitcom to watch, and it works for me. But for some reason, anything new that is multi-camera with a laugh track, like after about 30 seconds, I'm like, no, I hate this. I want rid of it. I don't know what it is, but they just can't do it well anymore.
Maybe not.
They all suck.
Maybe that's because the people who were talented at writing them are now writing single camera ones instead.
Yeah, because perhaps they prefer them. It was kind of the same theory we have as to why there's very little like dramas on network TV that we want to watch. Because I remember, just 5 years ago, or maybe a bit more than that now, there used to be at least a handful of network shows on every week per season that I would want to watch and be really invested in, and that really stopped. And the theory that we've had a few times on this news show is that basically all the good writers on network TV started getting a lot more opportunities because streaming TV blossomed and cable TV blossomed.
I think over the last year we've had tangible evidence with people like Shonda Rhimes, who has built an entire empire for networks, right? Like this is that section now has a deal with, I think it was Netflix. It was definitely a streaming service. It's like clearly that's where they're going now.
I think they get to be more creative. I think they get away with more stuff. I think they get more control, perhaps, as well. And I think, arguably, they're better content, which is a shame because I do think I do love having a few good network shows that I really like. 22 episodes might be too many for a lot of shows, but I think it works for certain genres. I think it works. It gives you a chance to do special little standalone episodes that you would never do if you've only got 10 episodes a season. And sure, you get some fluff along with that, but is that worth the experimentation? To go to the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is something like Hush worth having something like Bad Eggs? Because Hush equally would be something that probably wouldn't happen if you only got your 10 episodes for just the main plot of the season.
Yeah, probably not. You need at least 16 to be getting into those sorts of episodes.
So unless you're a show like some of the CW stuff where you barely have any season plot anyway, and you just you still have that no matter how many episodes you have.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they want to do a new Office, and that's something they'll probably do because they really want to. They'll do something and call it the Office, and it
might be good.
It shouldn't be a paper company though. They should do something else.
Oh, absolutely shouldn't be a paper company. It should be something completely unrelated.
Should be a cardboard company. It has more
Plastic
depth than the
companies is a
original
bit
because
funny.
it's
Oh.
cardboard. What was that?
Plastic company.
Plastic?
Yeah. Maybe they just do like plastic cups.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, Connor, tell everyone about Patreon, will you?
Do I have to?
Yes.
Well, we have a Patreon. It is on the screen there. It is patreon.com/MildfuzzTV.
I was about to
And
tear
get...
you a new one because there's audio listeners to this
I-
show. You
I know.
inconsiderate fool.
I
Yes,
know.
continue.
I was doing both. Oh, see, you're just so impatient. You just assume I was going to screw it up. But no, I was considerate. You can get plenty of bonus content on there for as little as $1 a month. I don't know what's in those tiers anymore because Peter's changed it all around and I don't listen to him. But there is bonus content.
Yes. There's bonus episodes of some of the shows at the $1 tier, as well as deleted bonus bits cut from episodes where tangents happen and go too long.
Probably not from this one though, because this one's already a tangenty mess.
It's mostly. I mean, it's possible we could hit a tangent that would be worthwhile cutting out, but we'll see. And at the $5 tier, you get voting rights and you get early access to stuff and all sorts. Yeah, that's basically it. So, and there's higher stuff at the higher tiers. So next up, the Boondocks reboot has had a 2-season order by HBO Max. Now, I was like, what, is this to do with the movie Boondock Saints? Because I have no idea what this is. It was an Adult Swim thing, apparently. It was an animated series. So, two season, 24 episode order, so 12 episodes each. From creator Aaron McGruder and Sony Pictures Animation. So, yeah. Apparently the original was 55 episodes worth, and it will all be available on the Warner Media direct-to-consumer platform at launch. So it's coming fall of 2020, and it's going to start with a 50-minute special. So presumably the rest of them will be 25 minutes or whatever.
You know, the only thing that annoyed me about that news story is I didn't realize how far out we were from their service being launched. And I've got, God damn it, I've got to wait that long for Doom Patrol.
No. The new show's coming fall of 2020. The original episodes will be there at launch.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That was poorly worded. Not on your part, on whoever wrote that.
Okay. Next up, Amazon is developing an optimist comedy called Troll.
Sorry, what?
Sorry?
Say that again?
It's a show called Troll. Troll.
Okay.
Troll. Troll Hunter.
Sure.
From writer Lee Sung-jin, who worked on Undone, and Joey Lewis Amplified Pictures. So it's a comedy series about an eternal optimist who refuses to give up on his dreams of being a world-renowned documentary filmmaker, despite living off gig economy apps and never actually making a documentary. After being bullied online, he finally sets out to make a film exposing his troll, only to stumble upon what might be a geopolitical conspiracy.
I hate this.
It's a comedy.
Because I cannot deal with that people that are that optimistic. I just can't handle it.
Yes, basically this is a show about someone who's the opposite of Connor.
Genuinely, when people are too happy, too upbeat, just too friendly, maybe they smile at you too much. I don't like them. I can't deal with those sorts of people.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Hogan's Heroes sequel series in the works. And this is so I never saw the original, but Hogan's Heroes was a 60s sitcom.
Sure.
It's being rebooted by the original series co-creator Al Ruddy, Village Roadshow Entertainment Group, and Rough Pictures. So no network yet for this sequel series. But the reimagined version will be a single camera action adventure comedy series set in present day, focused. I said it was a sitcom. It technically just says comedy, so it may not actually have been quite a sitcom, just based on what it's saying about the new one.
Sure.
So focused on the descendants of the original heroes now scattered around the world who team up for a global treasure hunt. I have no frame of reference. I never see. It's one of these things where sitcom, barring like one or two exceptions, sitcoms before the 80s I've just not seen.
Yeah,
I've just not seen them, but I'm sure that's made some people excited this week.
Probably.
Yeah. So sticking with the comedies for a minute, NBC has bought a gay father-son comedy from writer Nick Lemon and Matt Hubbard. Nick Lemon. I mean, it's not spelled like a lemon, but it's, Lemon.
How is it spelled?
Lehman.
It's more layman than
Layman? Is that
potentially.
better than lemon or worse than lemon for making fun of? I don't know.
I don't know.
I tell you who needs this name. Deke. From Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for anyone who didn't get that. So Like Son, Like Father is the title of the show, and it centers on Nick, an out and proud gay man who finds himself in the unenviable position of assuming the role of his newly outed father's gay mentor and new roommate. So it's a gay man's father comes out as gay, well, he's obviously much older, and now he's like
and
his
then
gay.
moves in with him.
It doesn't say that he moves in with him. Oh yes, no, it says roommate. It says roommate. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So I could see the reason why this exists.
Yeah.
So that's on NBC. Does it say if it's single or multi-camera? It doesn't actually. Usually it'll specify.
If it doesn't, I would assume multi. Still, for an NBC sitcom, that would still be my immediate assumption.
Okay. Sticking with comedy, Cheryl Hines and Rachel Harris are going to both star and executive produce in Barracudas, a single-camera comedy from telenovela creators Christine Petrush and Jessica Goldstein. So this is ABC we're on now. Half our comedy is about sisters Becky and Bernie Burns. Per the show's revised description, so it's changed. Oh my. It's changed since the first time someone mentioned it, even though we never encountered it before. They are two incredibly different, spectacular divorce lawyers who spend their lives getting people out of dysfunctional relationships, but who can get out of their own dysfunctional relationship, the relationship with each other.
I'm trying to decide if that's personal and professional.
Do you know, it kind of describes professional and personal over the course of the whole thing, but it never really quite does it in a statement.
It doesn't, no.
Joe, it's funny actually. There was what was I watching the last week where someone said personal and professional in a movie or a TV show, and I started laughing when they said it, even though if it was fine in context of what they were saying, but it was.
But now that phrase is ruined for you.
Oh, that's gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me. Anyway, sticking with comedy still. What? I think the opening of this Deadline article is referencing a shipping name from Big Bang Theory.
It has shipping names?
Yes, I think it's Sheldon plus Amy, because the first thing is Shamey is back. But it took me a second to really think about what Shamey was.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
It's the only thing it can be.
Well, I'd get given with the context of the story, because Jim Parsons and Mayim Bialik, who played those two characters on the thing, have partnered for Carla, a new multi-camera comedy from Big Bang Studio, Warner Bros. TV. In a highly competitive situation with all broadcast networks bidding, the project, starring executive produced by Bialik and executive produced by Parsons, just landed at Fox with a series order for fall 2020. So next year. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's
so the next season. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're literally like this week.
That's the problem, because we're like just only. I mean, I think last week technically some stuff started that we weren't interested in, but stuff did start. So we are officially into this season now.
Yes, we're officially into 20. It
kind of feels like we're not yet, because we haven't seen anything from it yet.
Yes. So on the show, Carla is a 39-year-old woman who struggles every day against society and her mother to prove that you cannot have everything you want and still be happy. Which is why she spent the money her parents set aside for her wedding to open Cat Cafe in Louisville, Kentucky.
I hate cat cafes. I hate them.
That's because you don't like cats.
But why would you? Oh. What possible reason could you want to go out? Right, I'm out. I'll go get a coffee, sit down, and there's just cats everywhere.
I live with 3 cats.
Terrible.
Sitting, having food or drink with cats around is my normal.
It's
fine.
Right. So when you go out, you don't want more of that. You don't want 20 cats.
Yes,
do
but
you?
some people don't want to take care of cats full time. They just want a taste of the cat caring life.
They're a terrible idea, and I hate them. They should all close.
an idea that is spread across the entire planet,
Yes.
which means it's not
Yes.
going anywhere anytime soon. People like this idea.
Yeah, we've got a dog one as well by me, and I hate that one as well. Even though I like dogs, I just hate the concept.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they're terrible.
All right. Big news of the week. Starting the drama section off strong.
Okay, yeah.
So, along with Peacock, there was an announcement. Peacock, again, just to remind you, the streaming service from NBC.
We didn't actually talk about how stupid that name is, did we?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say something bold. It's not a good name, but I will take it over Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, and anything else with plus at the end of it.
It's better than NBC Plus.
Yes.
I'll give you that. I think CBS has got a good one, All Access. That's not bad.
It's a bit dull, but yeah, it's okay.
It's a bit dull and bland, but it gives me an idea of, okay, I understand what this is, and it's not plus.
HBO Max, honestly, is the smartest one, I think, so far.
That is a good one. That is a good one. But Peacock, I understand it's okay. It's the NBC logo,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's still a stupid name.
I'm
just gonna go sit down and watch Peacock.
I was gonna sit down for a night of Peacock and chill. Anyway, so the announcement that came with this is that they are working on they called it a reboot, although it was clarified later, and we'll get to who clarified it in a minute. But
it's a reboot in the same sense as the sitcoms earlier were.
Yes, it's a reboot, or to put it more accurately, it is a show set somewhere in the world, in the mythology of Battlestar Galactica. And we're not talking the original, 70s series that was, ripping off Star Wars.
We're talking about the good one.
We're talking about 2004, Ronald D. Moore series, who incidentally has a sci-fi show launching at Apple that I'm excited about, soon. But so this is a big, even before we get to who's behind this, it's like, whoa, they're doing a Battlestar Galactica series set in the same world. They did try and do a prequel called Caprica, which only lasted one season, didn't, set in the world on fire. I only saw a couple episodes of it, didn't really capture me either. So, I mean, it could be hit and miss, right, in that sense.
But
Sam Esmail is the one behind this. Sam Esmail of Mr. Robot is the one doing this. So I want to paint you a premise here, right? I want to give you the themes of, not even just what, just the plot or whatever, just the themes of what Battlestar Galactica was. Battlestar Galactica was artificial intelligence, it was AI, it was genocide, it was traveling through space.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there. You can't say artificial intelligence, AI, as if they're two separate things.
I didn't say as if it was two separate things. I was clarifying.
It sounded a lot like a list.
I was saying it both ways. So I just, it's got a lot of philosophy in it. That show. It has a lot of, what makes us human, what makes us machines. It has a lot of that. The thought of Sam Esmail exploring half of those themes is titillating.
To see how involved he is in the end.
What do you mean see how involved he is in the end?
No, I know he's showrunner, right?
Yeah.
But is he directing a bunch of it? Is he hands-on in writing a lot of the episodes? Or is it just
if he's showrunning, he's going to be involved at least the writing, and he's probably going to end up directing some of it.
I would hope so.
I feel like it's weird to assume anything else at this point.
I'm not assuming. I'm just, don't want to get my hopes up.
Look, Esmail on a sci-fi show is I'm going to do it again. Titulating. You hear me? Titulating.
You done?
There's so much potential. Anyway, he made it clear on Twitter this is not a remake of the 2004 series. This is set in the same world. That still happened, which means, where are we set? Are we set in the past? Are we set when the 12 planets were actually functioning? Is it set during the first Cylon War? Because, the 2004 series is set when the Cylons return after being missing for years after an original war. Is it going to be set during that first war? Is it set in the future? Because one of my guesses actually, which would make it a bit more contemporary, but one of my guesses would be, and I have to do a mild spoiler here for the, Battlestar Galactica 2004, to sort of say this, but I think at this point, given we're talking about the concepts of a potential new show, I kind of have to like just go with this. But so in the original, well, I say the original, in the 2004 show, it ended, and we find out that it was set in the past, right? Because that was one of the big questions throughout the whole show, is that it was set way in the past. And it had this little epilogue scene of present day being like, hey, because one of the big like sayings in the show was all of this has happened before and all of this will happen again. It was kind of this recurring theme. So my response to like when this news broke was, well, are we happening? Is this what happened before, or is this what's happening again? I was doing a pun on it, but so I have a theory. What if it's set in the either present or near future at the dawn of our like sort of advanced AI kind of thing? Is it going to do that kind of look at it, or is it going to go full space opera and do the Cylon War when there was robots and man fighting each other, for however long that lasted?
I've not seen
any
of like. I'm interested. Obviously, it's not like I'm not interested. I can visualize some elements from it.
Yes.
But I've never seen it. His phrasing, though, that happened. That all happened, implies to me this is.
Well, I wasn't looking at the tweet. Let me go get the exact wording, because that was my.
Oh, I thought he said it happened. I could be wrong now, though.
That was my phrasing. Hold on. Let me go get the tweet while you continue your thought.
Well, if it was that was the case, then I would have said it would have been in the future. But if that wasn't the right wording, then ignore all of this, obviously.
Here we go. The exact tweet directly from his Twitter account. BSG fans, this will not be a remake of the amazing series by Ronald D. Moore, or launched, because why mess with perfection? Instead, we'll explore a new story within the mythology while staying true to the spirit of Battlestar, so say we all, which was another thing from the show. So yeah, his phrasing.
Right, so that leaves it open.
Yeah, his phrasing was intentionally kind of like, this could be before, it could be after, it could be perpendicular. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would get the feeling though that you could probably jump into this without having seen the 2004 show. That said,
I hope so.
You've probably got plenty of time to watch it. It's only 4 seasons.
It is, and this is at least a year out.
Yes.
At least. Like, even if they start in production now, which I don't know if they are or not. Do we even know when Peacock is launching?
Debut in April 2020. There you go.
Okay. I mean, this is obviously not a launch show.
Oh yeah, obviously. No chance.
But, I mean, I've probably got time.
Yeah, you got time. You should watch Battlestar Galactica. So, yeah. So, as big news, exciting. I am, like, this is the sort of thing where I'd probably be like, well, okay, why not a new Battlestar? Why not something else? Attaching Sam Esmail to anything makes me not give a shit. Because all I can see now is, or all I can think about is, what does Sam Esmail do with that material?
Yeah. What's funny is I probably wouldn't have thought that, assuming I'd seen it. And obviously I care because Esmail. But given what you just said about it being, all this cyclical nature of it.
Oh sure, yeah.
To me, that's like, sure, do another one just in a different cycle. That seems obvious. Yeah, so, yeah. I'd have no problem with that.
Moving on then, Showtime has given a pilot production commitment to Spoonbenders, a 1-hour drama based on the 2017 Daryl Gregory novel from You're the Worst creator Stephen Falk and Greg Berlanti. Written by Fox, Spoonbenders is a genre-busting saga about the amazing Telemachus family.
I'll be honest, I'm disappointed they didn't say genre-bending.
There you go. A traveling family magic act that happened to be made up of people with actual magic powers, and the tragedy that finds them 25 years later, forced to reunite when old debts, long-running grudges, the mob, and the CIA all coming looking for them. That spiraled.
It did, didn't it? So they have actual magic.
Mm-hmm. And they've pissed off a lot of people in powerful places, but
it does sound like that, yes.
It's on Showtime, so I mean, Berlanti's slowly trying to branch out into doing some less, or not less, but like do more non-networky safe stuff.
Yeah, he's had a few streaming places lately, I think.
Yeah, he's got a couple of things in there. Obviously, I mean, even Sabrina is an example of that.
Sure, yeah, but that was a weird one where
Yeah,
it started as kind of a CW thing.
yeah.
Sure. I mean,
I
I
see
have no idea what
potential. It's hard to get super excited as of yet, but I think the premise is just weird enough that I'm like, okay, I've not seen this before.
yeah, I can't. It's definitely unique.
And it immediately makes me think of that image of Arrested Development where Job with the other magicians with a sign saying we demand to be taken seriously. And anything makes me think of that gets a point. So I have a point, Spoonbenders. Next up, still Showtime in fact. Showtime have given a pilot green light to Yellow Jackets, a drama from writers Ashley Lyle and Bart Nickerson. Entertainment One's behind it. Karen Kusama, who directed Destroyer, which had a good trailer. I never got around to watching it. It was the Nicole Kidman movie. It looked like a very sort of serious
Oh,
thriller.
that did look pretty good. Yeah.
She's going to direct and executive produce the pilot. And so we're ready for the description. Yellow Jackets is an equal part survival epic, horror story, and coming of age drama that relates the narrative of a team of wildly talented high school girls soccer players who become the unlucky survivors of a plane crash deep in the Ontario wilderness. The series chronicles their descent from a complicated but thriving team of warring, cannibalistic clans, while also tracking the lives they have attempted to piece back together nearly 25 years later. Proving that
25 years later.
Proving that the past is never really past, and what begun in the wilderness is far from over. What I think makes this interesting compared to some other shows where people land on an island or something like that from recent years is that they're saying no, they're going to be there for a long ass time, and we're going to deal with the fallout like decades later, like kind of thing. That's a little bit different.
Yeah. Are they still on the island, or is it like they got rescued at some point?
I think they eventually got off. If I was to guess, I think it's going to be like a flashback thing where kind of like Arrow, where they're going to constantly flash back to the younger actors on the island.
This is pretty good justification to do that.
Yeah,
and I mean, to be fair, Arrow did at first.
Yeah, I think the other neat thing, I think the reason why it's 25 years is because it means all the older versions are all about 40, 42 in that range. It's a nice age difference between the 15, 16-year-olds to the...
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's why they picked the 25 years for this kind of thing.
Also, it means they can cast 20-somethings as their 15, 16-year-olds and still have it look like a big enough difference between the two actors.
True, there you go. Yeah. So... No, there you go. That's an interesting premise, and I haven't seen Destroyer yet, but it looked interesting.
It did look good, yeah. I don't know how it actually was, but
very good taste. Next up, Apple's given a formal green light to Mosquito Coast, a drama series from Luther creator Neil Cross, starring Justin Theroux. I do like Justin Theroux. That's good news. The series, directed by Rupert Wyatt from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, is based on the 1981 novel The Mosquito Coast by Justin's uncle, Paul Theroux. Oh, that was a really casual run-on to, by the way, the actor's uncle wrote the book.
Yeah.
I wonder how he got that job.
He got first dibs at like, hey, look, this is mine, damn it.
Yeah. Mosquito Coast stars Justin Theroux as an idealist who uproots his family to Latin America. In 1986, feature adaptation of the novel directed by Peter Weir, the role was played by Harrison Ford. Oh, really? I never even knew this was a movie.
I've never heard of this before.
Oh, yeah. So Wyatt will executive produce and direct the first episode, as well as several more throughout the season. So probably evenly spaced out through the 10 or whatever it ends up being.
It's usually either evenly spaced out or they do like the first 3.
Yeah. Probably do 3 or 4 out of the 10, I imagine, if I was to guess. But that's pretty cool. So I like Theroux. I don't know if I'm going to like the story. Admittedly, it's not necessarily.
I've never actually watched Luther, but lots of people love it.
Yeah, a lot of people do go to bat for it. Next up, ABC has put in development 2 dramas from Mandeville Television. Committed, which is an anthology series based on the iHeartMedia original podcast. Oh, Jay, we'll get a TV show based on it someday. Maybe we should start doing fictional podcasts. They get
Why not
licensed. I'll tell stories tonight on Mail Fuzz Stories.
I dread to think what you come up with.
Gingers on a train.
Oh God, is this again?
Nothing but ginger exploitation. Yeah, so that's this one committed comes from Jerome Schwartz and Shannon Goss. And then the second one's an untitled family restaurant drama. The working title is Rice. Why not just tell me that then? Why not just say Rice and then in brackets say working title? Oh god. This comes from writer Zaire McGee, who's from For the People, and both are coming from ABC Studios. So yeah, so 2 shows in the works. Committed is based on the podcast of the same name, hosted by Joe Piazza. Is an anthology series that explores modern life through the lens of contemporary marriage in America. So anthology show maybe, or
It's hard to say. Yeah.
Hard to say, yeah. So yeah, and then the untitled, Rice. If I'll just use the title it's given me.
Rice.
Yes. Is written and executive produced by McGee, a family drama set in the world of fine dining. It centers on a family-owned Harlem restaurant that is rocked when the head chef and patriarch dies of a heart attack, bequeathing the head chef title to his youngest daughter, the one with the least experience of his children. The patriarch's deaths bring the family together, but his choice of successor threatens to tear the team apart as the long-buried secrets are revealed. Yeah, sounds like a...
Not gonna lie, world of fine dining. Rice is not the first thing that comes to mind.
You get rice in fine dining.
You can, but it's not like the pinnacle of fine dining, is it?
It's not like they're calling it Big Mac.
No. Well, they might have some trademark issues.
That's why you spell it M-A-C-K. Big Mac.
Sure, why not?
Or maybe the Big Mick. Spelled with an I.
Why would you do that?
And then...
Why would you ever do that?
Was that in Coming to America? That joke where there was a rival restaurant called McDonald's, M-A-C, like Donald's, and they keep trying to sue them, but it's a different name.
It's all right. There's a place by me called McNoodle King. It's brilliant.
I want to start a restaurant called Pizza Shack.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Everyone knows Shacks are cooler.
Actually, how about we just start 2 restaurants, one called Pizza King and one called Burger Hut?
They can't stop us.
They can't fight that. Genius.
Put on 2 fronts and they can't do anything about it.
Genius. Do you know what you do though? See if you got sometimes people who own the same 2 stores, the company will own both. They'll buy 2 stores next to each other and have them side by side. What you do is you have the logos in such a way that it will literally read if you read them horizontally or read Burger King and Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I'm surprised McNoodle King hasn't been. It's been there for 7 years. And no one said anything apparently, or they just ignored it. Obviously, I'm surprised because
I think it's so weird.
The muck bit is in yellow with a red outline.
Oh, so they're actually taking parts of the logo.
Oh, they're going for it. Yeah.
All right. What's the noodle taken from then?
I don't know. That bit's just we do noodles, don't we?
Oh, okay. Anyway, Fox has given a script commitment with penalty to everyday insanity. What is this based on Tim Vergilish? What's happening? A 1-hour drama from writer Laura Bensick. This is us star Stellan K. Brown and his Indian Meadows Productions. So yes, this is Fox, written by Bensick. Everyday Insanity, inspired by Bensick's life events, is an uplifting drama about 3 wildly different families who form a created family to support each other after their loved ones are diagnosed with a mental illness. Sounds like a serious drama.
Yeah.
These sort of dry network dramas, it's not that they're impossible to like. Because, This Is Us is actually an example of one where the pilot was pretty solid. It's just we had too many things going on to even consider keeping up with it.
Especially on the night that it was on.
Yeah, and of course, it ended up becoming one of the biggest things in TV ever. And we left it back at the start line, didn't we? The bastard and thing.
Yep.
So, we don't always pick the right ones. This is true.
We do all right, but That one was a wrong one.
And then next up, Fox has put in development City Hall. That sounds so exciting. An hour-long Los Angeles set drama from writer Bruce Romans. So here's the description of this one. This looks far too big for this show. It's called City Hall. How complicated could it be?
Is it about someone who works at City Hall? Maybe a group of people who work at City Hall.
City Hall is a character-driven drama centering on the lives of the three most powerful people in Los Angeles: Mayor Ben Bautista, a rising Democratic political star, his loyal chief of staff, Maya Phillips, and Deputy Mayor Jack Kavanaugh. While this trio don't always see eye to eye politically, they are committed to making the city a better place. But this is a Sisyphean task. I'm not familiar with this word. And it's capitalized as well, which means
I'd
it's...
have to see it, because that sounded weird. How do you spell it?
Sisyphean.
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 A task that can never be completed.
All right, Deadline. You got your thesaurus out.
It comes from Greek mythology. That makes sense.
Anyway, which will exact a toll on our characters and test their moral compasses as they are confronted with the relevant issues facing Los Angeles on a daily basis. The show will pull back the curtain on the inner workings of local government as our characters experience the trials and tribulations of maintaining a peaceful city and find a way to work together to solve the city's problems. There was no personal lives in there. That was all professional. What?
There was a personal bit in there.
There wasn't.
You'd have to read the last little bit again, but I'm sure there was.
The show will pull back the curtain on the inner workings of local government as our characters experience the trials and tribulations of maintaining a peaceful city and find a way to work together to solve the city's problems.
Working together.
That's still professional. You still have to work together at your job, you bastard. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Carr had some booze there for the record. Alright, final story of the week is your favourite. CBS is back in business.
Oh, is it that time of year? That's how I know this. That's how I know that the TV season has truly begun.
Yeah.
Because CBS are announcing next year's shite.
CBS has put in development Good Sam, a family medical drama from writer Katie Wett.
Sure, I'm just going to drink now because might as well.
Yeah, so Katie Wett from Beverly Hills 90210 and Jane the Virgin creator Jenny Snyder Uhrman. So written by Wech or Wetch. I don't know if it's like a Scottish style hard CH or a traditional CH. Wetch or Wech. Anyway, Good Sam centers on a talented yet stifled surgeon who embraces her leadership role after her renowned and pompous boss falls into a coma. Oh, that's convenient. When he awakens and wants to resume surgery, however, it falls to her to supervise this overbearing blowhard who never acknowledged her talents. And also happens to be her father. Oh, I hate it.
Oh, that's personal.
I hate it. I hate it so much. This is such network bullshit.
Maybe they're not going to do it. Maybe they're going to surprise me. Maybe they're just going to do professional. And then they just threw it in. Oh, CBS, you never fail to disappoint.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. That has been your news for the week. You're welcome. I shall now tell you what is coming up in the next week and what has been happening in the last week.
Stuff.
Yeah, we had episode 1 of Criminal, United Kingdom go up. The review of that is up. Netflix's new show, which is kind of split into like 4 shows because it's in different countries. So we tried one of those.
Netflix are terrible.
Yeah. Obviously, now Connor was sick this week for the majority of the first. Well, yeah, probably like Monday, Thursday.
Yeah, Monday through Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah.
So as a result, there was no Star Trek this week, unfortunately. But that'll be back, guns a blazing, come Tuesday. And it did mean that we're still no Firefly again this week, so apologies for that. And it did mean The Deuce was also heavily delayed. We have recorded it. It will be up before the next episode airs, so you can look forward to that. As for stuff coming up next week, though, we do have some pilots because we're in pilot season. We're going to try Emergence, which is the ABC kind of them try to do a new Lost style show with a mystery. So we're trying that. Stumptown is this week as well. Looking forward to trying that. Kobe Smulders trailer.
Actually, kind of excited for that one. Yeah.
And Netflix have got another one for us to try on Friday. The Politician, which is the Ryan Murphy show, the satire, high school politics.
Oh, look, someone else Netflix have pinched from network TV.
So you can look forward to coverage of that. I've still been working through Unbelievable and Glow. I've done 5 of Unbelievable so far. I got up to episode 7 of Glow, I think. So 8's the next one. So I'll have more of those pumping out over the week. Hopefully both of those will be done by the end of next week. Or this week. Because by the time you get this, it'll be Monday. So end of this week. But if not, I should be very close by then. Also, that's the other thing. We finally finished Too Old to Die Young. Episode 10's review of that went up. So ticking along, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, that's what's coming up. And like I said at the start, Octoberthon's coming. Screams After Midnight's going to be dominating the channel for a month. So brace yourself. That's not to say that there's not big things happening in TV, because Mr. Robot's back and Watchmen's starting. So there's things happening.
Yeah. So if you've got that notification bell turned on, so that it tells you when we post videos, apologies for all the horror show.
Well, to be fair, it's one per day. It's not like going to be flooded.
That might be flooded to some people.
Yeah. But hey,
just get into the spirit of it and watch some horror films, even if you don't like horror. Just do it anyway.
Yeah, don't be a wimp. Watch some horror movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's coming up. So that is our news show for the week. And we will see you next time. I don't know why I almost went into a weird Italian thing there.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're doing now.
Next time. Anyway, so yeah, let us know what you thought about the news we talked about in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all the usual stuff. I made Connor do Patreon in the middle, but I'll just remind you, patreon.com/MailFuzzTV for supports financially. You can support us, of course, by rating the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts. Gives a nice 5-star rating. And you can follow us on Twitter, @mail_fuzz for channel updates. And that's about it. You can get me on Twitter @Wibble89 if you want my own personal rambles.
Thrilling.
And Connor missed his window. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?